welcome back to a new video. Welcome to a brand new series where I'm going to rank every anime that I've watched. The way that this is going to work is at the end of every month, I'm going to put on a list of every anime that I've watched in that month. Then we are going to go ahead and put them on the list, and we are going to be rating them on a scale of 1 to 10. Is that we are going to have 5 different categories within that rating. And those categories are 1, the characters. It's going to be frankly if I like them, if I didn't like them, if they were average, if they were very interesting, or frankly, they just sucked. Number 2, animation. Some anime have absolutely mind-blowing animation, and some just have absolutely awful animation. So I do want to be able to have that as a key factor in this. Number 3, the story / the plot. Pretty much, if the story made sense, if it was fluid, if it wasn't rushed, if it was good, if it was bad. Number 4, the ending. I mean, every anime has to have an ending, so I want them to, actually give us an ending. Or if it has a second season, I want it to be able to set it up nicely. And then the last and final rating, and this one is just purely for me, and that is overall enjoyment. So that is pretty much if I did or didn't enjoy the show. With those 5 ratings, those are going to give us a point total up to 50 points, and then we will be able to do the math and get it down to a 10. That way you guys can kind of see the overall out of 50 and the overall out of 10. I was able to watch 8 different anime, and yes, I will be counting movies into this. First one was the Made in Abyss movie 3, also known as Abyss Dawn of the Deep Soul. I mean, it's a great movie. My personal, as far as characters go, meeting a bunch of new characters as well as having that main villain is absolutely amazing. So honestly, as far as characters for me, Made in Abyss movie 3, 8 out of 10. Next, we move on to animation. Easily has some of the best animation for me personally in the Made in Abyss series. It's just so beautifully done, and I just don't think it is looked at enough. So in my personal opinion, I am once again giving it an 8 out of 10. Then the story / plot. I mean, being able to, 1, make it cohesive for season 1, but also make it cohesive for the 2 movies that were before it is so well done, and being able to adapt that so that people can, 1, just watch movies and catch up easily, or watch the entire first season, which I personally did, to go into that, and then it sets up so well for season 2 going in to the ending. But as far as story and plot, I'm definitely going to put this at a 9 out of 10. Then the ending, like I was just saying, this has one of the best endings to set up into season 2. And I mean, there's really nothing else to really say about it. It's got a great everything leading up to it. And then on top of it, the ending is just a masterpiece. So once again, it's getting an 8 out of 10. And then, I mean, just overall enjoyment. Like I said, this is my favorite out of the entire Made in Abyss. So for me, this is a personal 9 out of 10 on the enjoyment factor. And that is going to bring our score for the first thing a solid 42 out of 50, also known as a 8.4 out of 10. Honestly, not bad. I think there's a few things I could have done a little bit better, but honestly, just as far as the movie is concerned, it is an absolute masterpiece. The other thing that I really want to do in this series is be able to compare it to my anime list. So my ranking was that 8.4 out of 10, and it looks like on my anime list, the consensus is an 8.64 out of 10. So realistically, I'm not that harsh of a critic. But let's move on to the next one. And the second one is Made in Abyss Season 2. I will say the characters are a little bit worse than the 3rd movie and the 1st season in my personal eyes. I mean, there was a lot of cool characters. There was a lot of stuff that was kind of hidden beyond. And I'm just not someone who looks that super deep into stuff. But I did like a lot of the characters. I really did like the kind of backstory that they were able to bring and swell it into it. But I am going to have to give the characters a solid 7 out of 10. Then we're going to move on to the animation. Once again, animation in this series is always top tier. They will never, pull back from how gruesome this show really is. So with that and the sheer enjoyment of it, I'm going to have to give it an 8 out of 10 for animation. Story and plot. I think this, as far as a full story and being able to not necessarily wrap up, but bring season 1 and all the movies together for this 2nd season was so perfectly done. I was so tempted to give this a 10 out of 10, but I wanted to just bring it back a little because, there was a few little issues for me, but nothing crazy. So I'm going to give the story / plot a 9 out of 10. The ending, given that there is supposed to be stuff after this, but in my eyes, I feel like there isn't really much to go after. And I don't know if that's just me personally, but for the ending, I was a little confused to know if we were getting more or not. So for me personally, I am going to have to give the ending a 7 out of 10. Still amazing, still great way to wrap everything up. But in my personal eyes, I got to give it a 7 out of 10. Overall enjoyment, like I said, I absolutely love Made in Abyss. I think it's such a good series. And with that, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. And for our total score for Made in Abyss Season 2, we've got a 39 out of 50, aka other known as a 7.8 out of 10. Now, let's go ahead and check out what my anime list. It does look like I was a little bit harsher just because mine was a 7.8 out of 10, and for my anime list, it was an 8.68 out of 10. So, a lot of people really like this one. I completely understand why. I think I just like the previous stuff a little bit more. So, you know, that's just my personal thoughts, but let's move on to the next one. And the next one, Laid Back Camp. I mean, this one is one of those anime where you can literally just turn your brain off. There's nothing to spoil. There's nothing crazy. It's just a nice anime to watch when you just need a little relaxation. Characters, I'm easily going to give this an 8 out of 10. There's a few characters that I really like, and there's a few characters I just really don't care for. Then, we've got our animation. Animation for this show has got some absolutely gorgeous moments, and is just it is beautiful. I have to say, the scenery in it, the characters, the design, I really like a lot of it. So I'm gonna once again give it an 8 out of 10. The story slash plot, and I mean, realistically, there's not anything special about this show. Like I said, this is sheerly a turn your brain off type of anime and just sheerly enjoy it. A 7 out of 10. Not that that's a bad thing by any means, but that is just my personal thoughts. The ending. I'm going to go ahead and give the ending a 7 out of 10 as well, just because, I mean, there isn't necessarily like an ending, but it doesn't feel like anything starting either. Like, it's really just a good way to end the show, but not anything crazy. We go to the overall enjoyment, and this is easily, for me, this is a 9 out of 10. Like, I know a lot of the stuff isn't super high ranking, but at the end of the day, that's not what really matters. If you enjoy the show, you enjoy the show. That's what really kind of is going to play the biggest part for me anyways. So with that, I am going to have to give Laid Back Camp Season 1 a 9 out of 10 on the enjoyment factor. Well, with that rating, that go ahead and gives us a 39 out of 50, other known as a 7.8 out of 10. Now, when we go ahead and look at my anime list, we are once again the harsh critic, given that the Laid Back Camp is an 8.27 out of 10, and we do have that 7.8. So, you know, once again, it's all personal preference. I'm really happy that this does have a good score, because I think a lot of people should go and watch this, because why not? And the next one, this one is Blue Period. I think this is one of those animes that kind of can either really touch you in a really nice way, or it might kind of give you a weird reality call, as weird as that is. But I honestly really like this show. As far as the characters go, there's a lot of characters that, one, you can kind of relate to, and also love and also hate all at the same time. Diversity of doing that, I am gonna have to give Blue Period an 8 out of 10 on the character rate. Animation, and oh my god, if you guys are looking for an anime that is going to absolutely shock you with how beautiful the animation is, it is this anime. I mean, the pictures that these artists are able to just draw and the emotion that it drives from that is just absolutely stunning. I'm gonna have to easily give the animation on this a 9 out of 10. I know a lot of people would think that's a little too high, but for me, I think that is more than fair. Story slash plot. Like I said, this story can, once again, it can touch you in a lot of ways, and it can really kind of give you a reality check, and it really does show exactly how much stress comes into being in school and doing all that. So if you're someone who's struggled with school and you've struggled with and what you want to do with your life, this is a definite recommendation on my list. I'm gonna easily give this an 8 out of 10. Then we've got the ending. To me, the ending isn't anything crazy. It's good. I love it. Like, it's what needed to happen, but it isn't anything special. So for me, I'm gonna have to give the ending a 7 out of 10 just because it is a good ending. Easily for me, overall enjoyment. I mean, for me personally, this is not too much of even hard to think of. And to me, that is an 8 out of 10. It's just a really solid show. I've already recommended this to a few people. Honestly, if you are just looking for a nice, easy show to watch on Netflix, go ahead and watch this. Highly would recommend. With that rating, that's going to give us a 40 out of 50, other known as a 8 out of 10. So a perfect 8 rating. Nothing too high, nothing too low. But let's look at what my anime list has to say. On my anime list, it looks like they've got a 7.83 out of 10. So this time, we are the generous critic. I honestly think that's fair. I mean, this is one of those shows, like I was saying, it's either going to do good for people or it's just not going to be in the realm. But let's move on to the next one. The next one is the quintessential quintuplets movie. And I am not going to lie to you guys, right off the bat, this is not going to get as high as a rating as I was hoping it would. Well, either way, let's get into it. Characters. I mean, I absolutely love almost every character in this show, whether it is a side character, the main characters, or literally anyone. It has a great way to literally make you feel like every character matters in this show. Yeah, a nice little 8 out of 10 just because I do enjoy all of them. I mean, the animation, there's nothing that crazy about this one, and honestly, it felt like to me it kind of went down a level from season 2. I don't know if that was just me personally, and I know it wasn't anything crazy or not, but I am gonna have to give the movie animation wise just a 6 out of 10, which I know is a little bit harsh, but that is just me. Sorry. We've got the story slash plot. It's exactly what you wanted it to be. It's good. It's just good. Simple as that. So I mean, for me, it's a 7 out of 10. The ending. Okay. Before I say anything, I want to clarify. My girl didn't win. So, of course, my ranking's gonna be low. So, I'm not gonna say who won. I'm not gonna say who my girl is. But I do want you to know that there's a reason why my rating is a 5 out of 10. And that is strictly because I didn't want her to win. And she won. And now my girl is sad. And then I was sad. So, yes. We've got overall enjoyment. Overall enjoyment for me is an easy 7 out of 10. I think it is a little bit lower than I was thinking it would be. And that is strictly because I absolutely loved the first and second season. And it kind of felt like the movie let me down. And that is not because of the fact of my girl not winning. It is just frankly because I just didn't like it as much as I was hoping. So my ranking is a little bit harsher for this one. But nonetheless, that puts us at a 33 out of 50. Also known as a 6.6 out of 10, which I know is very critical. Especially because I knew for a fact that it did very good on my anime list. I mean, it's got a 7.95, nearly an 8-point rating, and here I am putting it at a 6.6 out of 10. But once again, guys, this is all my personal thoughts, so let's just move into the next one before anyone crucifies me. Next, we've got Chainsaw Man. I mean, everyone loves it. There's really not much more to say. I mean, everyone really liked this anime. I don't blame anyone for liking this anime. Before we get into it, I do want to say that I did read the manga. Not that I'm going to be like, the manga was so much better, because it wasn't significantly better, but it was better. Some stuff just got better on each side. I just personally like the manga a little bit more. That's just my personal preference, but that's okay. Let's get into it. Characters, easy. 9 out of 10. I mean, we've never seen a main character like Denji before. Side characters, villains, dope. I love it. Can't wait for season 2. Animation, don't think there's a shock here. Easily 9 out of 10 again. It's got some absolutely just jaw-breaking scenes, moments. I mean, as far as animation can go, this is in that like top level, but I can also think of a few anime that are that right here above it. So that's just me. Story and plot. I mean, to me, it's hard to rank this really high because as far as the story and plot goes, I feel like we've seen it before. Lonely kid who's poor, didn't have anything, ends up getting, you know, everything that he kind of wants, but had to trade something for it. Not anything crazy in that sense. So as far as the storyline wise, I'm gonna have to put this at a solid 7 out of 10. Ending. I mean, there's more to come. And it set itself up really well, but I was kind of hoping for like just a little bit more, just a tad bit. So I'm just gonna put it at a really good 7 out of 10. Don't think that's too crazy. Overall enjoyment, like I said, my personal preference is gonna come in here because I like the manga a little bit more, and I think the manga is like beautiful, jaw-dropping, like fantastic. The anime for Chainsaw Man at a solid 8 out of 10. You know, I know a lot of people would put this in 10 out of 10. I know a few people would put it in 5 or 1 out of 10. My personal, I think 8 out of 10 is completely fine. But of course, when we go on to my anime list, we are once again the harsh critic because everyone is putting this at an 8.67 out of 10, which I completely agree with. I mean, I could easily see this coming into like a 9 or even like a 9.5 out of 10. So honestly, don't blame anyone. Chainsaw Man, let's go ahead and let's just move on to the next one. Next, we've got Weather With You. Now, if you guys haven't seen my TikTok where I went ahead and I copied a guy's TikTok where he had his fiance make 26 prompts for him to watch in anime, I decided that I was going to do the same thing with Gabby choosing them for me. One of the ones that she decided for me was Weather Gone Wrong. And I was, you know, looking through movies, trying to figure out if there's any show or anything that I've seen that has to do with weather that I haven't seen. And I realized I have not seen Weathering With You. I want to say I have not seen Your Name because I know a lot of people watched Your Name first and then Weathering With You. So the rankings are going to be a little bit different. But since this was my introduction to this amazing author, I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm just gonna put that out there. That way you guys know not to crucify me right off the bat. But let's get into it. First, we've got the characters. I mean, I really like the characters. Almost everyone in it makes you either feel like you really like them or you're just like, what the f are you doing? And it brings out a lot of emotion in each character. So I'm gonna have to give characters a solid 9 out of 10. Got animation. I mean, as far as animation goes, this has to have some of the most beautiful scenes, most beautiful moments, and just absolutely jaw-dropping music to go along with the animation. It really doesn't get much better than this, so for me, I am gonna have to put this at a golden 10 out of 10. Now, story and plot. I know a lot of people are not as big on the story and plot of this because it feels very, very basic, and to me, it's exactly what it should be. Like, it fits everything in. It doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel slow. It just feels very well paced throughout the entire thing. And to me, I absolutely love that. So for me personally, I'm going to go ahead and put this at a 9 out of 10 for the story and plot. We've got the ending. I mean, it has a masterpiece of an ending. It isn't anything, you know, crazy, but it is exactly what it needed to wrap everything up. And I think he just does such a good work with this movie that I now have to go watch Your Name. So, I mean, the ending to me is a 9 out of 10. There's not much more to say. The overall rating, and to me, don't think there's too much of a shock here. I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking that this is gonna earn a 10 out of 10, but it's not. We're gonna drop that down to a 9 out of 10 because it's still phenomenal, but it is not a masterpiece all the way. That we got it at a 46 out of 50, or also known as a 9.2 out of 10, which honestly was the highest rating of the month. I think this was easily the best anime that I watched this month, and this is the second time of today where we are the generous person, and we gave it the 9.2 out of 10, and my anime list has it at an 8.3 out of 10. And once again, I think that is because I have not seen Your Name, and I think that is definitely going to affect this. So yeah, I mean, let's just go on to the final one. Oh my god, the final one. This is, I think I could get a lot of criticism for this, but you know, it doesn't really matter. And that is the Akudama Drive, or Akudama Tana. I don't know. It's good. It's okay. I don't super love it. It's an okay story. It's okay across the board, but might as well just get into it. First, we've got characters. I mean, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. There's like one character that I really liked, but everything else just doesn't feel good. So we've got knockoff Kakashi. We like the bulky is always one or two smart people. The characters are just okay. They're fine at best. We move on to animation. Animation for the show, I completely understand why it gets the rep that it does. And for me, I'm gonna go ahead and have to agree with a lot of people and put it at a solid 9 out of 10. I mean, The fight scene in it is really good. They did a really good way to really capture the atmosphere of this world. Then we go to the story and plot. Like I said, the story and plot is just fine at best. It's not insane. It's not bad. It's not good either, though. So it's a 6 out of 10. Just put it up there. Next, we've gone ahead and put the ending. I mean, I really did not care for the ending. It felt very predictable. Like, it didn't, I don't know. I think I'm a little critical of this one, and I just don't know why. I just don't think I enjoyed this as an overall. So ending 7 out of 10, and just overall, let's just put it up there. 6 out of 10. Not too great, not too bad either, but it's just meh. And with that, let's see what my anime list has to say. We are once again the very harsh critic, because our total rating was a 34 out of 50, or also known as a 6.8 out of 10, whereas my anime list gave it a 7.61 out of 10. You know, I can understand it. It's got some good points. I can see why a lot of people enjoy this, but it's just not for me personally. But, you know, that is all okay. And, you know, go ahead and let me know your comments, your thoughts down below. And, you know, all your thoughts on the animes that I watched. Let me know what animes you watched down below as well. And also, no, I just wanted to clarify, I'm not going to put ones that I am currently watching. I'm only going to be doing these are finished, because obviously I could put Blue Lock on here, My Hero Academia, Vinland Saga, all of the other ones that have been coming out. But that's just kind of the wrap up for January. So if you guys want to see me start doing this series more, please let me know, because realistically, I'm probably going to do it anyways. But we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, bye, and boom.